Samuel L. Jackson believed he was arriving for a performance, unaware that he was about to step into a significant moment in history. When Kendrick Lamar made the call, it was clear this would be more than just another halftime show. It was a profound and revolutionary experience unlike anything the NFL audience had encountered before. Welcome to Celebrity Rap Life, where the red carpets never roll up and the spotlight never fades. The rewards are legendary. Because in Celebrity Rap Life, every downfall can become a comeback, and every headline tells a deeper story. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a second of what's coming next. The event took place on the grandest platform in American pop culture, the Super Bowl halftime show, viewed by over 120 million people. Typically, these shows feature flashy dance numbers, nostalgic pop songs, and celebrity appearances. However, Kendrick Lamar aimed for something beyond mere spectacle. He sought confrontation. To achieve this, he needed a powerful voice to guide the audience through the political narrative, and that voice was Samuel L. Jackson. Initially, Jackson didn't fully understand the significance of his involvement. During an episode of the Mad Sad Bad podcast with Paloma Faith, he shared his initial bewilderment. "I didn't know what they were doing," he admitted. "It was kind of surreal because it wasn't until the dress rehearsal that I looked up and saw the stage and thought, oh, that's a flag. Ah, crap, we're being revolutionaries." This moment highlights the duality of Jackson's role in contemporary culture. He is a towering figure in Hollywood, widely recognized and cherished across generations, but he is also a man influenced by the civil rights movement, having once served as an usher at Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s funeral. Throughout his life, he has found himself intertwined with the currents of social change. Kendrick Lamar was intentional in bringing Jackson into the performance. He didn't seek another rapper. He needed someone with gravitas, a living testament that this was not just entertainment, but a reflection of a nation still wrestling with its identity. As Uncle Sam, both a character and a symbol, Jackson became the narrator, a prophetic voice resonating over the powerful imagery crafted by Lamar and his team. This role echoed his performance as Dalmedes in Spike Lee's Chirac, where he acted as a Greek chorus, guiding the audience through a modern interpretation of ancient tragedy. The parallels were deliberate. Just as Dalmedes used rhyme and rhythm to highlight systemic issues through satire and anger, Uncle Sam now served as the voice for Kendrick's vision of America in 2025, divided, struggling, yet still hopeful. The performance itself was unprecedented for the NFL, rich with symbolism, meticulously choreographed, yet overflowing with raw emotion. It eschewed commercialism and avoided inviting guest stars for broader appeal. It showcased Kendrick at his most authentic, confrontational, and prophetic, with Jackson anchoring the narrative, adding historical significance and emotional depth. As Jackson stood on stage during the dress rehearsal, he experienced a moment of realization. The flag draped across the platform served a purpose beyond decoration. It was a powerful statement. The synchronized movements of the dancers, the changing lights, and Lamar's emergence from the shadows all came together to convey a strong message. Not a subtle one, but one that resonated with impact. "We're being revolutionaries," Jackson said, and he meant it sincerely. Lamar's performance addressed issues like incarceration, surveillance, systemic racism, and cultural pride, pulling no punches. The NFL had long navigated a delicate balance regarding race and protest, especially after the backlash against Colin Kaepernick. By allowing Lamar full creative control and bringing in Jackson, they essentially gave a platform to voices that many fans might prefer to ignore during their entertainment. However, Lamar was not aiming to be agreeable. He was focused on honesty, and Jackson was a vital part of that honesty. The seasoned actor has always taken a firm stand on justice. His involvement in the civil rights movement was not just a minor detail, it was a defining aspect of his life. While attending Morehouse College, he actively participated in activism, even locking the board of trustees in a building during a protest to demand changes in the school's curriculum and governance. Although this activism led to his temporary expulsion, it never diminished his spirit. Years later, he stood alongside Dr. King, not as a celebrity, but as a young man grieving a loss that affected an entire generation. While Jackson hasn't frequently discussed that experience publicly, he hinted at its importance in a podcast, reflecting, "Something about me or my persona has put me in the right place at the right time, in many moments of my life. And I have to accept that sometimes I'm meant to be an agent of change, whether I realize it or not." This sense of purpose has accompanied him throughout his life and was once again evident at the Super Bowl. Kendrick understood that referencing America through Uncle Sam would resonate differently coming from someone with Jackson's background, not just as a symbol, but as a survivor who has experienced the country from various perspectives, from protest marches to red carpets, from radical student movements to the Oscars. During the performance, Jackson's voice pierced through the music like a sermon. It wasn't always loud, but it was unmistakable. His monologues connected the different segments, setting the scenes, highlighting contradictions, and warning of potential consequences if change doesn't occur. He wasn't merely narrating the show, he was bearing witness. And what was the outcome? It became the most watched Super Bowl halftime show in history. It's worth considering why this was the case. On paper, this performance might not have seemed appealing to a wide American audience. There were no top 40 medleys, no pop collaborations, and no nostalgic nods to classic rock. The performance was rich, unapologetically black, and intensely political. What Lamar tapped into, something Jackson helped clarify, was a deep desire for authenticity. For years, audiences have grown disillusioned with the polished, safe performances that dominate major televised events. Kendrick subverted those expectations, and Jackson's unexpected presence transformed it into something beyond mere performance. He turned it into a ritual. There's something deeply significant about a 75-year-old man stepping onto a set without fully understanding its purpose, only to realize during rehearsal that he has been cast as a revolutionary once more, not by his own request, but because that is who he is. "I want to be on the right side of history," Jackson stated. "And sometimes it's not by choice." This sentiment resonated with fans long after the final fireworks lit up the stadium, as the performance fundamentally revolved around choosing sides. It challenged viewers, especially white Americans, to reflect on their stance, whether they were there for entertainment or genuinely engaged. The discussions that followed revealed that Kendrick had touched a nerve. Some hailed it as courageous and essential, while others criticized it as polarizing. Yet, no one dismissed it as forgettable, which may be the greatest accomplishment an artist can strive for. In the aftermath, there was a surge in streaming not only for Kendrick's music but also for the poets, speakers, and thinkers whose ideas inspired the performance. Young viewers sought to understand the meaning behind the flag displayed on stage, analyzed Jackson's monologues, and turned memorable lines into TikTok reflections and Instagram reels. Educators used it as a case study in media literacy, and artists referenced it in their own creations. The impact was undeniable. For Jackson, it wasn't a return to activism, it was a continuation. He didn't need to hold a sign or lead a march. His presence alone was a form of protest. His voice, infused with urgency and experience, lent the performance a legitimacy that no amount of special effects or choreography could achieve. As for Kendrick, he once again demonstrated why he stands apart from other artists. While many perform for the audience, he connects with the culture, the moment, and the truth. As time went on, the Super Bowl halftime show evolved into more than just an event. It became a reference point. Journalists mentioned it in their coverage of subsequent protests, and commentators debated its influence on live entertainment. Meanwhile, Jackson quietly emerged as one of its most lasting symbols. He hadn't intended it that way, but that's often how history unfolds. At times, you may not realize you're involved in something significant until you find yourself immersed in it. It's only when you glance up during practice that you notice the ground beneath you is a flag, and the stage surrounding you has become a battleground for emotions and beliefs. Samuel L. Jackson didn't intend to spearhead a movement at the Super Bowl, but when the opportunity came, he embraced it without hesitation. His voice was firm, his gaze focused, and his intention unmistakable. And the world took notice. This story is far from over, and the truth is still unfolding. I want to hear what you think. Drop your take in the comments. And if you don't want to miss the next twist, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a second of what's coming next.